activities. The mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So now we have seen over here, right? So what Lord is saying, Yunjan Nevam Sadat Atmanam. Sada Atmanam. Yunjan means you have to practice. Practice, engage yourself in what? Evam, that is whatever is mentioned above, whatever we practice, whatever we spoke about in shloka number 11, 12, 13, 14, all that he has to practice. Yunjan, you practice that. Whatever, he has to do, how he should practice, whatever we have spoken in 11, 12, 13, how he has to practice. Sada, constantly. It's not that he will practice 1 day and 2 days he will sleep. No, sada. So Krishna is telling, Yunjan evam sada. Atmanam, so constant practice of Atmanam. Atmanam here actually stands for all three, the body, the mind, and the soul. Here Atmanam is for all three. So who is supposed to do all this? Yogi. The yogi who has gone to that secluded place, right? Remember in Ashtanga Yoga we said you have to find a secluded place. So that yogi, what he has to do? Yunjan, he has to practice. What he has to practice? The Atmanam means the body, soul, mind, everything has to be constantly engaged, sada, not sometimes. So what he has to do, he is doing, he a transcendentalist, what is he doing? Niyata manasaha. Manas means mind. So niyata means niyam means regulation, regular. So he with a regulated, controlled mind, he has to control his mind. He can't just say, okay, I'm sitting in the forest, I am doing dhyana, but he's not actually doing, mind is not there. So then it's not Ashtanga Yoga. So he has to regulate his mind, control his mind. So by doing all this, what will happen? So Lord is saying, mat samstha adhi gachati. Adhi gachati means he will attain. Gachati means go. So attain what? Mat samstham. Mat samstham means mat samstham. Samstham is spiritual sky, the kingdom of God. That is what he will attain. Adhi gachati means he will attain that. Then also what he will get? Shantim. Nirvana Paramam. So he will attain Shantim. That is Shanti, we all know, peace. By how? Nirvana Paramam. He will be completely stopping all these material desires, material existence, everything will stop. Cessation of all the material existence. Completely focused. So if he continuously practices sada and puts his atmanam, like a body, mind, and soul, everything, niyata manasa, completely controlled mind, then what will he get? He will attain the spiritual sky. And then he will be able to get a lot of peace. That is the aim of meditation. It is not just for concentration, focus. It is to purify the mind. Unless we purify our mind, nothing is going to work out. However meditation, however chanting we may do, if we cannot help to purify our mind, nothing works out. So what is the way? How to fix the mind upon God? So first Lord explained, right? Physical, how to sit physically. Then he was talking about mental stability, how to control the mind. Then, of course, moving on, he is going to intellectually, how to apply on the self. So the Lord is giving the last step. This is all the technique of Ashtanga Yoga, right? So when person constantly, he keeps on his mind completely, he's not engaging his mind in outside world, he's completely engaging, going within, you can say. And he's keeping himself free from agitations. What will happen? Has to go to the Supreme. Just sit one day, make it blank, and just close your eyes. Think about God. You will touch it. There will be 1 second, I will tell you, it will touch. Try all of you. And at the peak of meditation, what happens? The mind becomes completely still. Nothing. Right now, I can hear some air, some sound, maybe the horn outside, maybe somebody's home cooker whistle, something will be heard. The moment I bring everything under control and go within, there will be a moment at least, a second at least, when mind becomes completely still. It comes to a halt. And the yogi continues to be in that state for a long time, he will attain the liberation. Nirvana Paramam. So at this end of the verse, Lord Krishna is giving the benefit. What is the benefit of meditation? Nirvana Paramam. Nirvanam, liberation. From what? Material desires, from all the Maya. From all this we'll get liberation. And what will we get? Everlasting kingdom of God. Golok Dham. Completely with God realization. Not here Golok Dham. Ashtanga yogis go to Brahma. Brahma, this one. Brahman realization. But we devotees, if we are into bhakti movement, we will be into Golokadham. So here he goes into that God realization. So he is getting liberation and he is getting everlasting God realization. So after this, what Lord is going to do? He is going to give us the tips. How the yogi, the yogi, you have to do this. He's going to tell all the tips as to what all the yogi has to do. Or maybe we have to do if we are practicing Ashtanga Yoga. So let's move on. Natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikanta manashnataha nachati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. Hare Krishna. Yes, who wants to read? Shravani Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Avoid extremes to establish firmly in Dhyan Yoga. Moderation is essential. There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Now, these are all the tips, small tips Lord Krishna is giving. So sweet, right? Who can imagine? God is giving so many tips and so many marks, so many ways to go towards Him, but still we are so adamant and so stubborn, we don't want to do anything. So after he described this object of meditation, what is the end goal, what will we achieve, Lord Krishna is giving these tips to us. So he is giving us some regulations. Follow this. Not only for those Ashtanga yogis, I say that it is for all of us. Whoever is trying to be in the spiritual path. So what is Lord saying over here? He's saying, na yoga asti. Na yogo asti. Na yogo asti means what? There is no possibility. Yoga means connection to God, right? So na yoga asti means asti in Sanskrit. You cannot connect to God, as a yogi. If what happens? Ati ashnata. Ati means anything. Ati means too much. Ati ashnata if you're eating too much, right? And then it is said, na chaikanta manash anataha. Na chaikanta manashnata, na cha kantam anashnataha. Anashnataha you can say. So it is also not good if you are eating or abstaining or you are restraining yourself from eating. No, I don't want to eat too much. If I eat too much, I won't be able to eat very little. Then also not possible. Why? Because the mind is always saying you are hungry. You won't be able to focus. So neither too much to eat, not too less. So, suppose he is doing that, like he is eating too little. Lord Krishna is saying he cannot be eligible to become a yogi. That's what he has written over here. So, na yogo asti. You cannot connect to God if you eat too much, or na chaikanta manashnataha. So then what he says, two more. What is that? He says, na chati swapna shilasya. Na chati swapna. Swapna means, shilasya, Not that, one can sleep too much. Swapna means when you see sapna or the dream, when you're sleeping, right? So you cannot sleep too much. That also person cannot become a yogi. Then jagrato naiva charjuna. Jagrato means wake up, right? So Arjuna, even a person who is jagrata or who is awake too much, not sleeping at all. Oh, I will sleep only 2 hours, 1.5, 3 hours, and then I keep chanting. That person also cannot become yogi in Ashtanga Yoga system. If you sleep very little, mind is agitated. Mind cannot concentrate. Mind won't be able to focus because mind wants sleep. It needs a lot of sleep, right? So you need to get enough sleep at least. Such a person also cannot become a yogi, says Lord Krishna. So basically there are 4 points. One who eats too much, one who eats very little, one who sleeps too much, one who sleeps very little. Simple as that, right? Those people cannot become a yogi. That's what Lord Krishna, and that's the essence of this particular shloka that Lord Krishna is trying to tell us. He's saying whoever breaks these rules of whatever bodily maintenance, this is called bodily maintenance. Even the car, if you drive too much, it will become very hot. If you drive too little, the engine will not work anymore. You have to keep switching on the ignition whenever you want, make sure that the car is in working condition. Same thing with this. Bodily maintenance. If you cannot do that properly, then you cannot be successful in becoming a yogi. So whenever we are like beginners, people who are in beginner, just starting to do, they do not have that kind of intelligence. They do not have that much of experience and wisdom. So, you are the soul, you are not this body. They take it very seriously. So when they are taking this very seriously, they engage in spiritual activity. They will forget, oh, I need to maintain the body also. Body is the vehicle. Body is the temple. You have to maintain this temple because there is God residing inside us. I know it is true we are not the body, but the body is our carrier, right? And as long as we are living, we have the duty towards this. We are obliged to take care of it. You can't just, and suppose if body becomes unwell, suppose I have fever, will I be able to give the class? Will I be able to do anything? No, my mind only will not work. What Yunjan Nevam, Nath Yashna Yogasti, nothing will work. Nothing, the shloka will also not come out of my mouth. Then the spiritual pursuit is gone, right? It is hindered, it is impeded. So no point. That is why Lord Krishna is suggesting to us moderation. So everything should be in moderation. Ati is too bad. Lord says ati not good. So moderation in food, moderation in sleep, moderation in recreation, everything is stated over here in this. So yoga, it's not possible for those who are eating too much or too little, or who are sleeping too much and too little, right? So that is advised for spiritual life. Everything should be in moderation. That is what is firmly told by Lord Krishna in this Dhyana Yoga. So Lord will continue in the same. He will be giving some more tips. Let's see that. Yuktahara viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu yuktaswapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Yes, please. Pravina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system.
Yes.
Ashtanga Yoga. Hare
Yes,
Krishna
Lord is
Mataji.
so merciful, right? He's giving so many practical tips, not only to Ashtanga yogis, he's actually giving it to us also. Previous shloka, what did he say? He said to practice bhakti or Ashtanga yoga, you must not eat too much, too little, sleep too much or too little. So he's given such nice tips. Who gives us? He's being very, very nice and very sympathetic towards us. So he's adding some more. What is he saying? He's giving some, he's actually, did you notice? He's giving tips in small, small doses. He knows our grasping power is very slow. So small tips he's giving. So what is Lord says? Yukta hara viharasya. So what does it mean? Yukta means what? Yukta, 3 times he has used in this. Yukta hara viharasya. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnava bodhasya. 3 times he is using. Yukta, yukta, yukta. Yukta means regulate, control. In what? You have to have that regulation or discipline or control in what? Ahar. Yukta ahar. In ahara means eating. You eat whatever, right? Eating what? You eat foodstuffs. Then vihara means recreation, going out wherever, leisure activities, whatever you're doing. It should be yukta, regulated. You have to have regulated ahara, you have to have regulated vihara also. Then yukta, cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta cheshtasya means you have to have regulation. In what? Karmasu, you are discharging your duties, whatever work. So yukta cheshta means trying. So you have to try to regulate your karmasu also, karma, duties, whatever duties you are discharging. Especially, we are working. Many working women are there, many working men are there, people are working. So you have to very carefully be regulated, not work too much. Morning you are going 6 o'clock, right? Night you are coming at 11. You are working whole day. You are not giving time for your spirituality. Not good. Too much is not good, too little is not good. So Lord Krishna is telling very carefully, Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Then for next one, he's saying, Yukta swapnava bodhasya. Avabodhasya means what? Control, discipline, regulated. In what? Sleeping also. Swapna, sleeping. Right? And during wakefulness, abodhasya, or when he is awake. By doing all this, what will happen? He is repeating this again and again. Yogi bhavati dukkhaha. He will be accustomed to the practice of yogi. And then at the end result will be dukkhaha. Pain will diminish. It will reduce. It will lessen. It will mitigate. So if you do yukta ahara, yukta vihara, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, you will yukta swapna or sleeping, yukta bodhasya, then what will, bodhasya means understand. Then what will happen? Yogi bhavati dukkha, he will be away from all the pain. So what is yoga? Right? Yoga is connection to God. Simple as that. So opposite of yoga is what? Bhog. Too much. So if we have yoga, connection to God, union to God, the opposite of yoga is bhog. And if the bhog is too much, we will end up having rog, which is disease. So yoga, if it is not there, and instead we are having opposite, that is bhog, then we result in rog, which is disease. So it is not good. That is why Lord is stated in previous verses also. Body becomes unwell, gone. You won't be able to practice anything. Bhakti, Ashtanga Yoga, name it, you won't be able to practice it. So time is there. We should take care of our health. In this verse, Lord Krishna is again telling, again and again, he's saying, be moderate, be temperate with your bodily activities. Don't overdo anything. And when you're practicing yoga, it becomes very, very important. And the end result will be, you will be free from all the miseries and sorrow, whether it is body or mind. Buddha also, recommended the same thing. He recommended golden middle path, because he said severe tapasya is also not good. Completely sensual indulgence is also not good. Please be in the middle. There is this story of Buddha also. He went for meditation, right? He went for his enlightenment and all. Once he gave up, I think most of you might be knowing this, that Buddha gave up eating, Buddha gave up drinking, everything. He was not eating, he was not drinking, nothing. He just sat there in meditation. After a few days, he kept on practicing. He said, I want to be alone, and I want same thing, Ashtanga Yoga. He went alone and he was sitting inside the cave, not eating, not drinking anything. He did not follow what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Yukta Ahara Viharasya and all that. So after a few days, what happened? He did not eat anything. So lack of nourishment was there. He became very weak. He started getting that, dizziness and all that. Then he said, oh my God, how do I steady my mind? It was becoming impossible for him to do meditation then. At that moment, some village women were passing by. Maybe they were carrying some water from the river or whatever there. That's what it was said. Then they were singing something. They were singing the song, and the meaning of that song was, tighten the strings of we have that sitar. No, not sitar. Tanpura. That stringed in Indian instrument, we have musical instrument. It's like guitar, sitar guitar. She said, they said, the village women, tighten the strings of that instrument, tanpura, but do not tighten them too much, because otherwise the strings will break. That's it. Those words impacted Gautam Buddha like anything. Oh my God, these illiterate village women, the village women, they are singing such words of wisdom. Oh my God. So that there was a message for all of us humans. We should not tighten our bodies too much. Means too difficult austerities will break us. We won't be able to achieve anything. It should not be to the extent that the body will only break, body won't work, body will be destroyed. That is why Lord Krishna says moderation. But it should not be like complete self-denial. I will not I will not be eating, I will not be going out, I will not be doing like this, I will not be sleeping, I will be doing meditation 24/7. Cannot. So that's what Lord Krishna says. After giving these practical tips, what are the regulations, yukta ahara, viharasya, what all we need to follow, Lord Krishna is going to speak about the perfect stage of Ashtanga Yoga. Now he's moving on to that perfectional stage. Let's see that. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva vatishtate nispruha sarvakamebhyaha yukta ityuchyate tada. Yes, please. Pratima Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah.
When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities, and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires. He is said to be well established in yoga.
Yes. Now Lord Krishna is
Hare
telling
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So far, what did Lord tell us? He has given us a lot of practical tips. Now we are going to see the perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga. So what is this again? Yada. Yada, when basically whenever they use the word yada, it usually stands for the yogi, because whenever they say yada means that they are talking continuously, they are bringing the continuation from the previous shloka. So we are talking about yogi. So here also it is about yogi. So yogi who is practicing what? Yoga. And how is he practicing? Very nicely. So in the practice of yoga, what happens? Viniyatam. Viniyatam, vini is chittam. Actually, viniyatam, chittam. Viniyatam, chittam. Chittam means what? Mind. Here. So viniyatam, chittam means whoever is disciplining his mind, whoever is controlling his mind, the activities. Very well. What happens? Atmani eva atishtate. So tishtate, situated properly. So Atmani, what happens is becomes very much situated in Atman, in the self, in the spirituality, in transcendence, in trance. The moment he is completely viniyatam chittam, the moment he controls his mind, he is actually going into trance. Nisprahas sarvakamebhyaha. What happened? Nisprahas sarvakamebhyaha means he's removing, he's dividing of what? Of sarva. Sarva, all kinds of kama. Kama means desires. Sarva kamebhya. He is dividing all kinds, he's being devoid of all kinds of sarva kamebhya, all kinds of desire. So all kinds of material sense objects, gratification, the desires. He is then what happens to him? Yukt ityut yate tada. So yukta. So he's very well situated, connected. Yukta, connected in yoga, completely at that time. So very high level of perfectional stage. So the moment he controls his mind, his chittam, and he's situated within, then he is being devoid of all the sarva kamebhya, all the material desires gone. Completely control of mind now. Yukta ityuchadetara. Completely, he is immediately connected. Immediately connected. So that's a very high level of perfectional stage. This is the Ashtanga Yoga. And what is expected at this point is first, he has to discipline his mental activities, number one. Then what will happen? He will go into transcendence. And then third, he has to become free of all the material desires. And when does the person complete the practice of yoga? Answer is when he is controlling his chitta. Chitta, viniyatam chittam. The moment he is fixed, exclusively focused on God, completely on God, then what happens simultaneously, automatically, the moment you're focusing on God and nothing is coming, you are moving away, right? You're moving away from these worldly desires. At that time, you become yukta, perfect. King Amrish, we have an excellent example of King Amrish over here. He had done that. Not only Ashtanga yogis, even the devotees completely, they have given up, engaged their mind on the lotus feet of Lord, right? Engaged his words, Lord, them hands, feet, mind, everything. He would use his hands in mopping or cleaning the temple. He would use his words to talk about the Lord, describe his leelas. Then he would use his ears to hear about the activities of the Lord, his eyes to look at the deities, then his body in touching the other devotees' bodies, or in using his nose to smell tulsi, or maybe even the flowers then which is offered to the Lord, and his tongue he is using to taste the prasadam, right? His legs to go to pilgrimage places, his head bowing down and offering his obeisances, everything. King Amrish did all of it. We all know of that, right? And even at this end of this chapter, after 6.47, Lord will say, right, that of all yogis, the topmost yogi is the one who is completely engaged in this, that he's the highest of all. He will say that also. And Srila Prabhupada also says that, people in general, especially those who are not in, like, they're not like sannyasis. So they, it is very, very important for us that we understand this process, because it is perfect, right? Yukta. Bhagavad Gita, yukta means you completely have to engage yourself. That's Srila Prabhupada also explained to us in very nicely in his purport that, people in general, especially those who are not sannyasis, transcendental engagement, like if we want to engage our senses, our mind, that is what has been described here. How to engage our mind is described in this shloka. So we have to get devoid of all the material desires and how to engage. So Krishna is going to highlight some more points about Ashtanga Yoga. Let's see how we can use those points or tips and translate that into our own lives. Let's try that. Yatha deepo nivatasto nihite sopamasmrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanah. Yes, please. Krishna Prasad Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, please. You want to read?
As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So what is Krishna telling us? He is telling the perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga. And we are trying to do the same in our lives, right? We also want to at least. So one nice analogy has been given over here. What is that? Yatha. Yatha Deepo Nivathasto. Yatha Nivathasta means as it is a place. Nivas. Nivas means it's a place. Stha means situated. So the place is situated without what? Wind. Nivathasta. It is a place without wind, windless place. Deepa. Deepo. Yatha Deepo. Deepo means light, right? Lamp, basically. Na ingate. Na ingate means what? It is not disturbed. Na ingate. Nothing is disturbed over there. It does not waver. The lamp, the wick does not move because it is windless. So most of us, we have seen the lamp, right? Where there is no air or no wind is blowing or nothing is flowing, then it will be very stable. The moment you will switch on the fan or you open the window, you will start the lamp wavering. So we are talking about that lamp, right? So Sopama Smrita, this Upama. So Upama Smrita. Upama means comparison. You do comparison. It is compared to what? Compared to whom? Yogino. It is compared to a yogi. So this lamp which does not waver in a place is compared to whom? Upama to yogi. A yogi. And what is a lamp compared to? Yata chittasya. The lamp is compared to mind, whose mind is controlled. His mind is not wavering. The lamp is not wavering, mind is not wavering. So this whole analogy is for a yogi whose mind is controlled. Yunjato yogam atmanaha. So what does he do? Yunjata yogam atmana. He's constantly, yunjan means engaged. In what? Yoga. Meditation, basically. So atmanaha, on the transcendental self. He is completely into that super soul. He is focusing on that super soul. So Lord Krishna has very nicely given a simile over here, right? As the flame of a lamp. So in the wind, the flame flickers naturally. It is but natural, right? So it is impossible to control that lamp. Same way, if it is but if it's a windless place, for example, flame will be steady. Flame will not be moving around. You can see in the picture, the flame is straight. Nothing, it's not moving, right? Similarly, mind is also very fickle-minded, right? By nature, of course. Very difficult to control. I'm sure here, so many participants, so many devotees are sitting here. And I'm sure mind must have gone somewhere or the other. While you're attending the class, you may be thinking about the kitchen, you may be thinking about the work, you may be thinking about the kids, you may be thinking about the next hour, what you are going to do. It's fickle by nature, very difficult to control. It's a natural thing. But when the mind of a yogi is absorbed and it's connected with God, then what happens? It becomes sheltered. There is how does it become sheltered? It becomes sheltered by the, winds of desire. The desire is like a wind. It will keep blowing here and there. But when we take shelter of God, when we are constantly engaged with God, then this whole meditation helps us and shelters us from these desires. And such a yogi is able to hold his mind completely, is completely under control. Just imagine. That's the power of devotion, you know. We need to learn that. So Lord Krishna is going to take us to another level, completely another level, and he's going to speak about trance, you know, samadhi. Let's see that also. Did I go to that? Yeah, 16, 17. Okay, there are 20, 21, 22, 23. Let's read that. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati sukhamatyantikam yattat buddhigrayamatīndriyam veti yatra na chaivayam sitaschalati tatvatah yam labdhva chaparam labham manyatenadikam tatah yasmin sthito na dukkhena purunapi vichalyate tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangitam. Yes, please. It's a big paragraph who would like to read. Swapnil Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. What are the rich rewards of Dhyan Yoga? In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material, mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Very nice shloka here. We are going to know about what all rewards we are getting. We are always interested in rewards, right? So last shloka, Krishna gave a very nice analogy about how the yogi is like a lamp in a windless place. How is yogi's consciousness, yogi's mind actually is like a lamp in the windless place. Not yogi, but the yogi's mind. The comparison is the yogi's mind. How it is like a lamp in a windless place, and he's always steady, and he's always very much constantly engaged into meditation and transcendental self. So Lord will tell us now what are the symptoms of that kind of a person who is in samadhi. He's already connected to God. Okay, so what are the different things he has already achieved, what he is going to achieve? The Lord is telling over here, yoga sangitam. Yoga sangitam, the person who's already in yoga, he's in samadhi now, he is in trance, he is completely connected to God. So what's the description given about him? What are the different aspects of his personality? Yatra uparamate chittam niruddham. So the mind, the chittam, yatro paramate chittam. So his mind, this person's mind, whose person's mind, who's yogi, the yogi who is in samadhi, his mind is completely restrained. Like last shloka we know, right? His mind is like a lamp in a windless place. Niruddham, from all the matter, all the material, mental activities, it's completely under control. Why? It is under control because he's connected to God. He's already in samadhi, he's in transcendental happiness. Uparamate, he has ceased. Uparamate means he has stopped. He has stopped himself from all the material activities. He's not doing anything. He's not thinking anything. He's completely in trance. He's only and only and only connected to God. And how he will attain all that? Yoga sevaya. Niruddham yoga sevaya. That is how he will attain, by practicing yoga. He has to practice, perform yoga. So next, second one. Yatra chaivatma atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. So this personality, this yogi who is in samadhi, what is he doing? He has attained perfection now, right? So yatra, where? In which what he is doing? Certainly what he is doing, pashyan. Pashyan means see, observe, see. He is realizing, he is observing, he is seeing. What is he seeing? What is he realizing? What position is realizing of what? Atmanam. He is realizing his own Atmanam inside. Super soul is going inside. By what? Pure mind, Atmanam. And what is he doing? He is relishing. He is relishing Atmani Tushyati. Tushyati means satisfied. He is connected to God. He is able to see God. He is connected, and he is within himself. He is so satisfied. He is so content. Tushyati. Completely satisfied. He doesn't want to go out of it now. See, once you are tasting gulab jamun, and I give you bitter karela, bitter gourd. Would you want to taste bitter gourd if I'm giving rasgulla or gulab jamun to you? You'll say, please, Mataji, I'm happy eating gulab. I don't want that bitter gourd or any other bitter thing, for example, right? Some people like bitter gourd also. So I'm just giving that kind of crude example. So he is on that transcendental platform. He just doesn't want to come out of it. And the third one, sukham atyantakam yattad buddhi grayamatindriyam. So he is atyantakam sukham. Atyantakam means there is beyond. So he has got supreme happiness. Atyantakam sukham that he has experienced. Boundless, transcendental happiness that he is situated in. So he was able to grahyam. Grahyam, he was able to graham. Grahyam means take it. You take it. He got the access to it. So he could realize it, those happiness, supreme happiness. Now he is overjoyed, rejoicing. So how is he able to rejoice? Through what? Buddhi. Buddhi grayamati indriyam. Buddhi means his intellect, by intelligence. Ati indriyam. Ati indriyam. Those, not the material senses. Ati indriyam means transcendental senses. Through his transcendental senses, he has gone within. He is blissful. He is content. He is enjoying. And through what? The buddhi and the ati indriyam. And the fourth one, vetri yatra na chayavayam stitash chalati tatvatah. Veti. Once he knows that experience, the moment you get that experience within, he is saying, he certainly will never, na chalati tatvatah. He will never move from that place. He will never move from that truth. Tattva means truth. He will never be able to get out of it because he has seen, right? He has experienced that. Once you experience, once you go within, once you are with God, who wants to come out? Stitaha, he is there, situated in that blissful situation, blissful truth. Tattvataha, that truth. And what he thinks about this blissful situation is given in the fifth one. What he says, yam labdva cha param labham manyatenadikam tataha. Yam labdva. Labdva means labham. Once he is attained. What he has attained? That blissful situation. That transcendental platform. Then he thinks or he says, na manyate aparam adhika labham. He will never ever consider any other adhikam or labham or gain. He doesn't want any labham. He doesn't want anything. He's so happy over there because he has gained absolute truth. He's connected to God. He's experienced that. So he thinks there is no other greater gain than this. And then what he says? Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. So yasmin sthita, once he is established at that point, he's sthit means situated in that trance. He's already there. Then what? Na dukkhena. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. So there will be no dukkha only. He's free. He is so happy with God. He is not bothered about anything. He is free from all the miseries. He is never weighed down by any kind of these miseries. Gurunap api vichalyate. Even though he may sometimes find some difficulty, maybe the place is not that great, or he is, nothing, but nothing shakes him. He's so much within himself. He's so much in transcendental happiness, so much in trance that nothing shakes him anymore. Na gurunapi na vichalyate. Gurunapi vichalyate means he's not shaken at all. Come what may. Tam vidya dukkha sanyogam viyogam yoga sangitam. And tam vidya dukkha samyoga. So in the state, what happens? Actual freedom. He is now in such a state that actual freedom in viyogam. Viyogam with what? From what? All miseries. Viyog. Viyog. Viyog is away from all the miseries. How does the misery come? Misery come only when we are in this material world, right? So he is away from all this. These are some of the aspects that he has achieved. Once he is in yoga sangitam, that is, once he is connected to God. The moment he is connected to God, he is away from everything. Because he is doing yoga sevaya. He is in trance, in yoga. So this is the process of meditation and the state of perfection that Lord Krishna is trying to explain to us. And he is telling these are the rewards, if you do, you will be so happy. You will not want anything more. So all these verses, If we take all this, this is the complete picture of the reward of yoga and the stages, how the yogi passes through, what all stages he passes through, how he has to make a single point focus by doing it. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not that easy. So once, he has presented this process of meditation, perfection, Lord is giving the results, right? He's telling us that if you purify your mind, you are able to perceive the self, you are able to distinct yourself from the mind, body, and intellect. Like, please see, if there is a muddy water in a glass, right? Can we see through it? We cannot see. There is a muddy water. But if there is in chemistry lab, if you have that alum, most of you are science students will know. If we put alum in the water, what happens? The mud slowly settles down and water becomes very clear. Similarly, now our mind is becoming, it's very unclean, right? It's lot of clutter is there. What happens when there is a lot of clutter? The whole thing is obscure. It's opaque. There is no clear glass over here. So there is opaque perception of the soul. We can't see everything clearly, right? We need to get scriptural knowledge. Slowly we are gaining knowledge. We increase our faith. And then all this we are learning at theoretical level. But when mind becomes pure with devotion, soul directly connects to God and we get that self-realization. In that state of samadhi, then we experience some satisfaction, some contentment. And then soul doesn't desire anything. You will slowly lose the taste yourself. And then it becomes firmly situated in that tattvataha, in that absolute truth. And it won't get deviated at all. Because in this material realm, wherever we are never 100% satisfied with whatever we may get. Poor person wants to become very rich, and he gave little bit, he's satisfied, then he wants to become a millionaire. Right? The same millionaire, he will look at the billionaire and he'll say, I have to work harder. That discontentment is still there, it sets in. The billionaire is also not happy. He also looks at another richer person and say, oh my God, that person, he is holding so much now. So no matter whatever happiness we may get, we will never be satisfied, right? So this unfulfillment will remain. It will always linger in our heart, in our mind, in our senses. But the happiness that we will achieve through the practice of yoga, Lord Krishna says that infinite bliss that cannot be compared. So soul naturally, it will be able to connect to God completely. And that happiness, Lord Krishna says over here, it cannot be snatched away from the yogi. Once he has attained it, it will be there. So such God-realized soul, like even our beloved spiritual guru, Srila Prabhupada, even though he was residing in his material body, we all know, right? He remained in that divine consciousness. Sometimes, externally we have seen how many tribulations, how many problems, how many miseries he faced, how many difficulties he faced, even in the form of illness, how many attacks he had got. We know all this, how many enemies were there who never wanted him to, do all this, improve the whole movement. Whenever he wanted to build that temple in Mumbai, they were all so many people who were opposing all that. So many oppressive environment was there. But internally, Srila Prabhupada and also other great saints, of course, great ones, we all know, right? They retain that divine consciousness and they continue to relish that blissful realm of God. They know they are there, but externally they may face a lot of problems, right? But never mind. So, yasmin sthitona dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate completely stands true for all these saints and all these gurus. Even the biggest difficulty does not shake them. So because they are in union with God inside. They have risen beyond this bodily level. They are not affected. Even the bodily, they are having so many attacks or not ill, not happy. Because of the external environment, they will show, but internally they are blissful. We hear in the Puranas also about Prahlad Maharaj, right? When he was put into the pits of snakes, he was tortured, he was thrown from the cliff, he was tortured by weapons, and he was placed in the fire also, right? By Holika. And So many difficulties he faced, but that could not break his devotional union with God, right? So, in that 23rd verse also we have seen that the stage of perfection, tam vidya dukkha sanyogam viyogam yoga sangitam, stage of perfection, Lord Krishna is stating over here, that has to be reached with determined practice. Has to be yoga sangitam. You know, the yoga has to be done. That has to be, completely we have to be determined. Now he is going to explain to us, how we must practice meditation, right? Because see, the state of yoga means what? We need to have that attainment of bliss, that is happiness, and we will immediately get freedom from misery. The moment we are connected to God, these two will happen. You'll be free from the miseries. That is what Lord Krishna is emphasizing so many times, right? Successively, continuously. Previous words also he was telling attainment of bliss. That was highlighted, right? As a result of yoga, he said you will get complete bliss. Even in the previous shloka, he said that. In this verse also, he's saying you will get freedom from misery. He's just changing the words here and there, but he's emphasizing on that. The moment you're connected to God, you will be free from the miseries. Go, hey, guys, get up, wake up, come to me. That's what Lord is trying to tell us, but we are not, right? So let's see next two verses. Lord is going to actually help us understand with the methods how to attain that particular state of yoga rudha stage, highest stage. What are the methods? So we'll see that also. Okay, so this is Ashtanga yoga, Ashtanga yoga, 8-limbed connection. We all know about this, right? So we have all this. We have Yama, external discipline. We have to be, and externally we need to be disciplined. Internally we need to be disciplined. What all the postures, we also learned about that. Breath control, pranayama, pratyahara, withdrawal of senses, concentration, then meditative absorption, and samadhi. This is Ashtanga yoga. So how the yogis do it. So this is the first limb. He has to live alone in a secluded place, control his mind. Then about how Lord told, right, in 6.17, control in moderate in eating, sleeping, working. And then in 11 to 14, how he has to lay the kusha grass. It should neither be high nor too low. How he has to sit in a straight position, free from sex life. Then how he has to stop movement of outgoing breath and incoming breath, pranayama, right? And then he's told about pratyahara, how he has to get away from outside material things. Then he has to focus, start disciplining his mental activities, right? So that's what in 6.18. Then in 6.19, how his mind should be like a lamp in a windless place, right? He has to be steady. And then 6.20 to 23 is highest perfectional stage, where he's not shaken. Whether he is facing difficulty, whatever he's facing, he is free from all the miseries. That's what we learn. We move on to 6.24. Sanishchayena yoktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvana sheshatah manasayvendriya gramam viniyamya samantatah. Okay, anybody wants to read this?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sense control must accompany meditative efforts. That's very, very important point. So far, Lord Krishna has explained to us, he has described the yoga rudha stage, how he is in that perfectional stage, that high level of Ashtanga yoga. He is in the stage of samadhi. He's away from all miseries. He's completely satisfied. He's content. He's within. We saw all that, right? So now what Krishna is doing, he's trying to explain as to how to reach that stage. We need to know how to reach from yoga rurukshu stage to yoga rudha stage. How can a person reach that stage is what Lord Krishna, he is giving us everything. He has given us the tips, he is giving us the methods, he is telling how the symptoms of those yoga rudha are. Everything he is telling us very nicely. Only thing left is apply. So here it is giving Yoktavyo yoga. Yoktavyo means here what? Yoga should be practiced. Yoktavyo yoga. Yoga has to be practiced. One should be engaging oneself in yoga. How? Sanishtayena. Sanishtayena means nishtay. You have to have the determination. मैंने निश्चय कर लिया है. I am determined. I have made sure that I will do it. You need to have faith. And one thing that is very, very important is what? Anirvinna chetasa. Without deviating. Once you have made a point that, okay, I'm going to do this, do it. Don't deviate. Don't get distracted by anything else. Otherwise, tyaktva sarvan asheshataha. So, yogo nirvinna asheshata means what? We should give up completely, all, sarvan, sarva. What we have to give up? Kaman. We have to sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshata. Sarva. Give up everything. What you have to give up? Kaman, desire. All the desires you have to give up. Now, where do they, Prabhavan, where do they come from? Prabhavan, where do they come up from? These desires, what are they coming? They're born up of sankalpa. The moment we have some sankalpa, that mental speculation, I need to get a car. I need to buy that. That one small seed has gone inside and it will keep moving. Okay, now I need a car, so I need a loan, or should I just buy, or should I sell my old car? Buy a new car. Can I get from my dad, or can somebody give it to me? What color I need to buy? That's it. So that Prabhavan, where do this come from? These are born from Sankalpa. That is mental speculation that he has given. He has to give up that. He has to give up that. Otherwise, desires will come and go, keep coming, keep coming. So manasayavendriya gramam viniyamya samantata. Finally, what should he do? Viniyamya, regulate. He has to regulate what? Samantataha. From all sides, all angles, he has to regulate. Because if he stops here, mind will go this side. If the mind is stopping over here, mind will go that side. So samantataha, from all the angles, he has to regulate it. So what does he need to regulate? Indriya. Mana, seva, indriya and gramam. Full set of gramam. Indriya gramam means full set. Not one eyes or one nose. No. All, the whole set. Indriya gramam. Full set of senses he has to regulate. So what he has to do? What does he need to regulate? He has to regulate the senses. What he needs to regulate the senses? Mana. Mana, seva, indriya, grama. So he has to use his mana to regulate the senses. Because mana is higher than the senses. Because mana is higher than the senses, that's why he can use his mind to regulate the senses by the mind. So by using his mind, how can a person reach that yoga, that top level yoga rudha stage? You have to practice that Ashtanga yoga with determination, with faith, control the senses. How to control the senses? Through the mind. So meditation requires this two processes. First you have to remove the mind from this material world. And then second is fix your mind on God. Two things. This Ashtanga yoga meditation is two. First, mind has to get away from this material world and mind has to fix to God. So Lord Krishna is telling over here, he begins by describing first part, that you first please take away your mind from the world. Because these worldly people, worldly things, it will keep coming to your mind if you keep attaching yourself to the mind. Please get away from this world, is saying Lord Krishna. And then whoever wants to go into meditation path, Ashtanga yoga path, and wants to achieve success, everybody tries to go and do meditation, but how many become successful? So to become successful, Lord Krishna is telling, please renounce your affinity for these material objects. Otherwise, we are always attached to the material objects. Okay? Please, hato wahan se. That's what Lord Krishna is telling. See, the thoughts, first it comes like a spurna. Spurna means flashes. Some flash idea will come into our mind. And the mind is so strong, it insists, I will implement this. I will try. And that the moment the mind is saying, it becomes a sankalpa, the thought. And that thought slowly, it can become a sankalpa or it can become vikalpa also. Sometimes bad thoughts, negative thoughts also come. Positive thoughts, negative thoughts. Sankalpa, vikalpa. What can we do? Depending whether the attachment is positive or negative. Slowly that seed is going in, becoming a plant. We are watering it with the desire, more desire, more desire. The plant is growing into plant of desire. And this should happen. This should not happen. The mind is going. So both sankalpa, immediately it is creating some impression in the mind now. It's like a film of a camera, you know, that film we see in olden days. Now we have got digital camera. In olden days, film of the camera is there. Then they used to expose it to the light. So what happens? All these desires, all these thoughts, they will stop us from meditation. We can't meditate upon God then. Even though we are doing our sitting in meditation, mind is somewhere else. So these desires, they have natural tendency. It will flare up suddenly. The moment we are fixing, suddenly something, and we will think that that is the most important thing in the world. And that desire that is a seed today, slowly it will become a huge volcano, inferno tomorrow. That is why Lord Krishna is telling the second part, please make that mind to reside upon God. Fix it towards God. Try that. When he says it will not happen automatically, it's not easy. But with determined effort, success will come slowly. You can't say that, okay, I sat, I could not do it, I'm sorry, I cannot. You have to try. Keep trying. So sense control is very important. Sense control, and mind has to control the senses. That is how meditation can happen. So what are the other things that are needed to reach Yoga Rudha stage is what Lord is going to tell us next. So tomorrow, 25th onwards, 25th sloka onwards, we will do that. Ancha kalpata rupyesha kripa sindhu vyavcha patana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo ananta koti vaishnav. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Tomorrow we'll continue from sloka number 25. Let's remember all of us. Hare Krishna, everyone. See you all tomorrow.
Hare
Thank
Krishna
you.
Mataji. Thank you for the
Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ayo.